The nights have been so different lately. I walked the same roads to get home since my job wasn't too far. Trekking lonely streets held its dangers of muggers and murderers, yet living life holds its own risks. My boss let us leave early since it was surprisingly slow with customers not showing up. I closed up for my team and headed on my dark old path when a scream stopped my feet cold. I could see in the shadows two men attacking a woman. The sounds of screaming and beatings were not uncommon, so I just put my head down and kept on walking. Being a hero in a place like this could get you killed, and I valued my life. The street I walked for years looked darker than usual. Another scream filled the air, louder than the first as it echoed in the air, followed by more screams with cries I could not make out. I began to pick up my pace, knowing that something wasn't right. The night air began to fade, leaving behind a feeling of abandonment. A dense fog began to cover the street, leaving me with 5 feet of visibility. I followed the street, walking as fast as possible, looking down, watching the street ease my stress, since I knew I would be home any time now. The screaming began again. This time, numerous people were crying out in pain, and the smell of blood filled the fog. I began to run, looking down again at a familiar street. However, instead of seeing it dry, the road looked wet as it reflected the large moon in the sky. Rain never fell, so why would the street be wet? I leaned down and rubbed my fingers on the road. It was blood. I ran faster than ever. My feet splashed on blood puddles as the screams around me got worse. Suddenly, laughter could be heard. A twisted laughter that sounded like it got wild and louder when the screams became cries for help. I looked up once more to see a blank darkness. The street's lights dimmed, leaving me with such little light. My familiar street finally led me home. Yet my home was gone. In its place stood my tormentor, the creature behind the sinister laughter. It was the devil himself, sitting on his throne of bones and thorns. I could not believe my eyes. Maybe I could be dreaming. That's right, I'm in my home, sleeping on my bed, having this horrible nightmare. Oh, but you're not home, the devil told me with a snide growl. The woman would have survived if you would have helped her. Granted, you would have died, but you would not be here. I love you, selfish humans. In the end, you will all come here. Where is here? I ignorantly asked. The devil looked at me and said in a proud voice, "Hell, of course." He laughed as 2 demons appeared and took me to a cell crammed with other sinners, each hesitantly waiting for their turn to be tortured. The stench was overwhelming. These sinners were covered in their own waste and bile. They were riddled in deeply pus gashes and scars. The screams and cries continued, and soon I would be adding mine to this symphony of suffering. This will be my eternity, to rot and grieve in hell for all time. The next morning, on Earth, my boss went to open up when he found my corpse on the road. The 2 men that beat the woman to death killed me as well, leaving no witnesses. They shot me in the head. It was an instant death.